How's everybody doing? So, this is our first show from the new location of our new studio, which is at a friend of mine's that is being so gracious to let us use this room. And we're going to be doing some live streams from here. We can also do songs from the couch here, and we can do one-on-one interviews if people want to do that, and it's going to be cool. As soon as we can, though, we will have the studio downtown Nashville, one step at a time. It's kind of like baby steps. Everybody knows what baby steps is, I hope. You know what baby steps is, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. At least you know. All right. So our first guest in the new place is a really fabulous lady. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to get her on here, and you've got to go to her website, go to all of her socials and everything else. You will not regret it because she has got a fantabulous voice. Did I say that right? Fantabulous? Is that right?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, you could do fantastic. I don't know. Did I make a word up?
Make a word.
We create our own words here. So that's cool as I'll get out. Anyway, everybody, please welcome on this wonderful afternoon, Miss Anna Christina Cash.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just sitting here going crazy.
Well, I can't tell you how honored I am to be your first guest at the new studio. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even tell you that when we was first talking a while ago. I was like,
I feel honored. That's great.
Well, yes, ma'am. I mean, it's I was like, you ever have something happen and you're just like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
100%. 100%.
It gets crazy as I'll get out. But girl, I was reading a bunch of stuff on you and going through stuff, and I was listening to the music and everything, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Oh, you're so cool. Thank you. Well, I've got a lot of recordings done in the last 3 years. That's for sure. I just feel really inspired.
Yeah, because that whole Tough Love EP that you did.
Oh, yes. That was so fun. That was 2017, and then I released the full Shine record in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of like my first like full-on album, so to speak, when I moved to Nashville proper. And it was like experimenting with Americana and country sounds and pop. And now like the newer stuff is like country with pop, and it has like live instruments mixed in with beats. So it's kind of like a little bit of a shift.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like a different era, I guess, and it feels fun. I just kind of go with what I'm inspired by.
Well, that's what I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people try to stay within a certain genre. They try to stay within a certain, well, you can't really certain thing, because country music now has turned into everything's mashed into the country music.
Yes.
But I find it fascinating how people take those different things and they're able to incorporate it in, and they come out with a song that actually is telling a story.
Oh, yes. For me, it's all about the stories. That's why I fell in love with country music in particular in the first place. Like, since I was a kid, I've listened to, of course, many different influences, of course, Latin music because of my background, pop music. Country music was always there for me. There was a station called 999 Kiss Country in South Florida, where I'm from. And I just fell in love with the voices in country music, the storytelling, like the genre just pulled me in like really early as a little girl. And I thought, wow, like these are some of the best singers I've ever heard in genre, in any genre.
And that's what's wild, because I'm not telling ages here or anything, but I'm assuming back then they didn't do a whole lot of auto tune and all this other stuff. These were actual voices of the people coming through.
Oh, yes. Just talk about throwing it back. Like when I heard Patsy Cline's first voice for the first time,
Oh my
I fell in
God.
love with Patsy Cline. I mean, that voice is so magical. Loretta Lynn, and then just like all of the
Mhm.
truth in her music and all of the feisty grit and like some of her stuff. I think like a few of her songs were banned from country radio because she spoke up for herself and just wrote songs that were true. So that's why I love the country music genre. And then growing up, when I grew up, it was more like Leanne. Leanne Rhymes was very popular. I fell in love with the song
Right.
Blue, as well as, you know, Trisha Yearwood, Faith Hill, Shania, all those singers, Martina. I love
Oh yeah.
Martina. And yeah, it's just the list goes on and on.
Yeah, because well, Shania had Mutt Lang at the time, and
Yeah.
they were blazing a path with all of her music.
Yes, you know, John, my husband, he told me kind of the story. That's why I understand it more, like how Mutt Lang produced Def Leppard for years.
Yeah.
That's why like her sound mixed in with the country has those like Def Leppard-ish guitars.
Oh
And
yeah.
it created like a really cool fusion between country, pop, and rock, but it had those rock and roll electric guitars. So
Yeah.
that's what kind of made her music more of an arena act. I feel, of course, like with all of her talents and her beauty and her voice and her songwriting as well. So like that
Yeah.
was fascinating to watch as a kid, to watch her ascent and everything, and also how visual those shows were.
Oh yeah. It was amazing. And well, I mean, Jason Aldean, when he first started coming out, he had that soul guitar, that rock guitar, and it worked.
Oh yeah, no, he's amazing. Like, you know, he has a very individual sound that sounds like
Mhm.
him. And I think as far as being an artist, it's important to be identifiable, not only vocally, like, you know, if someone hears you on the radio, you're like, oh, that's that artist. Okay, I know that's definitely that artist. I think having an identifiable voice and identity, even like from the clothing, the image, all of that, I think that all plays into it as well. And it's just fascinating, really, how you present yourself to the public.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's something that I've always loved because I'm sure you know, you go to clubs and stuff like that, and people do covers and everything, and they're trying to sound like that artist, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, dude, sound like yourself. Do your portrayal of this song, okay? Because that was something that was huge with me. Was it didn't matter. You turned on the radio, you didn't hear the DJ announce them, but you knew the song. You knew who it was by just by hearing their voice and all that. Very, of course, back in the day, I guess you could say it was iconic. I guess I don't know.
For sure. Let me make sure I put this on vibrate. I did not put that on vibrate. I just did. Pardon.
Oh, you're fine.
But yes, no, I get it completely, and that's part of that's the part of the job that I absolutely love, is just connecting with an audience in that way, and for
Mhm.
people like to sing your songs back to you and be like, you know, this really touched me in a moment where I was feeling down, I was sad, or I celebrated to your song, like this was my wedding song, like my wedding dance, all of those things. You know, you just get to be a part of people's lives, you get to tell real life stories, and that's the part of my job that I love the most. I love songwriting. I
Yeah.
love communicating with the public.
Well, I mean, that was something else that blew me away about you because I talk a lot,
That's
and
good. I
and
love it.
and I was sitting there reading your stuff, and I'm just like, I can't compete. I mean, you got the masters in creative writing at Harvard, and I'm just like, this girl knows more words than I ever even thought about.
But you want to know a funny secret though? It's like, you know, some people can do all that, but it's like you ask my husband, like when he met me, he makes fun of me. He says I couldn't even use a can opener. Right. So it's like real life things that I fail at. So I'm not above anybody. So,
Yeah, it's you know, and that's what a lot of people understand. You know,
yeah.
some people they've got a really great talent and they got this, but we're all people.
We're all people. We're all people. Nobody's above anybody, I feel. And like I, even with all of that, that's, you know, my thirst and my hunger to learn. The reason I got that degree and master's. And it's something I'm very proud of, don't get me wrong, but
Oh yeah,
at the same time, it's because I had a purpose. I've always been a songwriter. And during that time period, I just had my daughter. She was 4 months old. And I felt like I was hungry for learning again. I think we're all
yeah,
like eternal students. So I really feel like literature really helps me with my songwriting. And I really wanted to write some young adult fiction, but I didn't know how to
Mhm.
set up actual fiction stories, right? So I said, I've
Yeah.
got to go to school somewhere. So I found their hybrid program. I tested in, they let me in. So I did many classes in Boston and then many hybrid classes online with classrooms and then like an entire residency over there, bringing my family back and forth or just myself back and forth, just
Yeah.
raising a baby. I remember I left my, John Carter had a promo he brought me and the baby with for a posthumous Johnny Cash record at the time. This was about like
Mhm.
2018, 2017, 18, thereabouts. And we had to go to London for that. I was just accompanying him on the trip, and so was the baby. And I had left my laptop that I was doing my classes on. I left my laptop with all of my work saved in there at the Heathrow Airport in
Oh,
London.
man.
And this is the kind of program that if you fail like one thing, like you're out of the whole program. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
So I was crying. You know what I mean?
I'd have been in full-blown panic mode, man.
Talk about stress, but that they were able to, I was able to like find another makeshift laptop and then like do some of my work again, like until they shipped my laptop back to me. It just happened to work out. I don't know how. But it worked out and I got the laptop. But the point is, we all make sacrifices for what we
Oh,
want
yeah.
and like the things we want to learn. And for me, that the challenge in the last few years has been work-life balance with family. I've got a 4-year-old son now and a 7-year-old daughter that's turning 8. I have a husband. I have this music career that is bilingual. I do like a whole series of events in the country music industry,
Right.
and then I go down to Florida to Los Angeles and I do promotion in Spanish.
Right.
So it's almost like two different people.
Yeah.
Um, it's like almost like three different people. There's like this artist, that artist, and then there's like the mom and the wife. So I think it just keeps it interesting, but it
Have you
yes.
have
Go
you really I'm sorry, this
ahead. Go ahead.
question just popped in my head. Have you ever thought about doing a bilingual song or maybe doing an album in English and then doing a complete identical version of it in nothing but your native language?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that because EP1 is coming out in September. The Sunshine State EP Volume 1 is the
Uh-huh.
name of it. While I've released several singles that have been bilingual. So I released Last Call as a part of that, leading up to that Last Call, and then it has a Spanish version called Tu Última Llamada. So we started down that path,
Right.
and then releasing Cheap Margaritas, we have a Spanglish version as well. And then
Yeah.
with Daybreak being released on August 1st, we've got Daybreak English, and then we've got Un Break, Daybreak Versión en Español. so, um,
Wow.
so it's interesting, and people ask me, like, does everything make sense? Does it translate literally? And it doesn't. So, if I'm writing this or I'm writing this with another co-writer, the adaptation in Spanish,
Uh-huh.
we just try to do our best to not sound cheesy. And if it's not working, it's not working. Then we just make it Spanglish. So like those two, the Daybreak and Last Call, we were able to get completely in Spanish versions, right?
Right.
But Cheap Margaritas, the syllables of the translation of the title would have been Margaritas Baratas, and that
Mhm.
just does not fit into the rhyme meter whatsoever. So it'd be Spanish. So when you listen to that for me. It's Spanish, 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 cheap margaritas, Spanish, 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 cheap margaritas.
Well, see, I heard the English version and I was just like, I
Yeah.
like this. And then I was like, pressed for try pressed for time to get here to do the show. And I was like, man, I wanted to hear that Spanish because I mean, I seen them both on the list, and I was just like, so that was something that popped in my head. And I was just like,
Oh yeah, it's been happening and it's coming. I've got more like, once EP1 is over, there's an EP2. I've recorded music for a whole other EP and for a full album. So I'm just missing Spanish translations for several of the singles that we identify for EP2 and full album. But EP1 is done and ready to be released September. And I have a lot of artistic dreams. I kind of go in different directions. Like one day I would love to do more of a bluegrass record, just all
yeah,
bluegrass, all English. I think just like with really beautiful Appalachian instrumentation, because I'm very inspired by that. very
Right.
inspired. I visit my husband's mother's family a lot in Virginia, in
Hmm.
southwestern Virginia, and also eastern Tennessee. I visit a lot, and I'm just
Yeah.
really inspired by nature, and I just love those sounds. I love those sounds. I have a dulcimer. I don't play it very well. I've I could play a little bit, but I've played some auto harp as well. I actually
Yeah.
recorded auto harp on a recording that's going to come out on EP2. I was able to play auto harp on that myself on that
Well, I
recording.
mean, once you get into the bluegrass stuff, you could just get you a little ceramic jug, and just
Yes, so there's that dream, and then one day I would also love to do like a full Spanish record again, because that's how I started my first record when I was a teenager. Because of geographically where I was located, that was where the Latin office of Sony Music was. There weren't many English speaking record labels, so people often ask me, even though like 'cause I grew up bilingual. But I always spoke English more fluently, to be honest,
right.
because like everything for me in school was English and everything. But my dad was like, it would be really helpful if you worked on your Spanish, worked on it. And then when I got that job, I really rushed, and
Mhm.
I started reading more in Spanish, watching soap operas to help me. And now I'm completely fluent. And thanks to my grandparents, really, because my mom and dad, they didn't speak a lick of English, but my parents would come in and out of English and Spanish all the time and mostly speak English, right?
Yeah.
So I had to really study, really force myself, and it's been very beneficial because there are also rhythms that I just love in Latin music. Like I love cumbia music, for example, like Colombian cumbia.
Hmm.
I'm not even Colombian, and also like Mexican cumbia. I'm not Mexican,
Right.
but then like I grew up with more of like the traditional salsa rhythms and everything, and all that stuff is so rhythmic. And the word is joy. Like when I think of that music, it reminds me of big parties, lots of food, joy, and celebration.
Yeah.
And I think what country music does for my other artistic part of my soul, it's three chords and the truth. It's real stories, great voices, so like that combination of the rhythm and the joy, mixing it with just the purity of country music has been really fascinating to experiment with. And
Yeah.
I don't think I also am like a purist in many ways, actually, even though I do combine things, because some things I think just, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work. I think I do things on a case by case basis. I don't think everything can be a fusion. I don't think everything can have a Spanish translation. Some things need to be left in one language or the other.
Right.
So it's about discernment and respecting what the song is telling. You don't want to um, what is it? Put a what's the square peg thing that people say all the time? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Put a
John
square
knows.
peg
I'll
in a
ask
round
John.
hole.
Put it round something in a square peg in a I don't
In
know.
a round hole.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to get at. But
It's one of those weird things because and what's odd that I've always found fascinating is when you look at bluegrass or the Appalachian music and stuff like that, it was a lot of families that were actually, cousins are showing up and it's a big
oh yeah,
family dinner and all this
it
other
is.
stuff. But if you take and look at, let's say the Mexican culture,
Yes. Same. Joyful. Both of them.
they always have people coming over and you can always tell when something's going on because the whole backyard is a PA system, I mean, it's just wild
Yeah.
as hell. Get out.
So you made an excellent point that I would love to elaborate on. So we go to the Carter Fold a lot.
Hmm.
John's cousin Rita, she runs the Carter Fold, so we perform at the Fold every now and then. And so they do the flat footing over there, and
Yeah.
people come from all over the area, and they come listen to the music, mostly bluegrass music, and they're flat footing and they're dancing and they're bringing their kids, and it's that same and pretty much every genre of music you have a celebration. So it's not
Right.
particularly just the Latin music that I was mentioning. You made a very valid point. Like that music is very celebratory. And in fact, John's grandmother, Maybelle, who was one of the founders of the Carter family, member of the
Right.
Carter family, um, she is known for her Carter scratch, a very identifiable guitar picking form of guitar picking.
Right.
And they lived at the Texas border for a while, actually, to pick up the signals from the radio stations in Mexico that were stronger.
Yeah.
Right. So they had to broadcast over there. And over there, I was told that she paid attention to a lot of the playing of the mariachi players,
Mm-hmm.
the Mexican mariachi players. So a lot of just historically, what the sound of country music as we know it was a fusion. It was an influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've told several people, you got to take your hats off to these mariachi players back in the day. They were traveling from town to town just to play and make a couple of bucks and keep going. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, a lot of people look at the movie and, you know, I forgot the guy that played a mariachi player in there. What was his name?
I don't remember. Is that terrible of me that I don't remember? I
It
don't
was one of
remember.
the movies.
I
can't remember the daggum name of it. See, I've gotten away from movies so daggum bad. But it was just something that if people actually took and looked at the mariachi player
Mhm.
and then looked at a lot of the bluegrass and the Appalachian Mountains, the families that got together and played and everything, that's something I think needs to come back. Because nowadays, if there's a family barbecue, it's like the husband, the wife, the kids, a couple of neighbors, and that's it. No, get your whole freaking family over there, man.
You
Have
know what
some
I think part of
fun.
the problem is now, again, like you make another valid point. I think it's sometimes the technology is a hindrance. I
Yeah.
think the kids on the iPad, I have kids, I'm constantly trying to pull the iPad away from them. What we do every chance we can, we sit and eat at the dinner table because I
Yeah.
won't allow an iPad, a phone, nothing there because for me the dinner table's sacred. So I feel like a lot of people just need to work on communicating, like in a community,
Yeah.
really, and not just families, but just out in the open, because we're all so eager to
Oh,
find
yeah.
out what's happening next on our phones, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's and I reference this all the time. Simon and Garfunkel said it best in their song, "The Sound of Silence."
I love that song. Love it.
Everybody's with their head bowed to the neon god they made.
hmm
Now everybody's doing that. It's crazy.
So I was told that the same band that played on that recording on Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, that they played on California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wild.
Which is crazy because like I love the particular sound of the instrumentation of those two recordings. So that
Mm-hmm.
the band just really had it going on. They just made some magic together because like those two songs are like the biggest classics we have practically.
And what's wild is back then the way they were recorded and everything. All the band was in the same freaking room, and it was all recorded on reel to reels back in the day.
Oh yes.
You
Yes.
know, I wished if I had the money, I would do it, but I can't do it because I've actually recorded on reel to reel back when I first started in my career and everything. And I wished I was still, I've probably forgot 100 different things to do on the reel to reel stuff, but I would love if somebody, give me an old codger out there that used to do it, could put all that back together and set one up and do some recordings today of some of the newer artists and everything. I want to hear the difference
Interesting.
because
I see where you're getting at.
that whole warmth of the recording and everything and the tone of a lot of that stuff, just like you said, it made certain songs.
It really did. And a lot of it, it was tracked very differently on analog, a lot of it.
Mhm.
And you had to be careful, like the band had to play together many
Yeah.
times, and like you could not make mistakes and you could not um single out tracks and everything. I think by then you were able to. Definitely by then you were able to do that. But there's you still you had to like cut the tape, the whole thing. Like recording there was more at stake basically. So you had to there wasn't the comfort of now that you could just record it again or do another take and everything.
Yeah.
So that's sort of made people more complacent, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
also made recording more effective and efficient at the same time, which is also wonderful because then you can get more work done,
Oh, yeah.
quality work. But at the same time, that urgency and that fear of wasting studio money,
Yeah.
by making the band do something over and over again because you messed up your part, like there's a certain fear in that
Oh, yeah.
for
Well, I
sure.
mean, and one of my friends, Jeff Huskins, he does that Atmos Dolby, and it is just phenomenal what
Yes.
he's doing and creating with all that. I mean, it's amazing the whole procedure and how it's went forward, and I can't even get some of the Atmos stuff. I can't even listen to it because of, I went and bought a new car just so I could listen to it.
Oh no, it's the craziest thing. It's funny that you mentioned that because I have many friends in all disciplines of music, whether it's songwriters, producers, artists, players.
Yeah.
Um, I saw a friend of mine who's a producer. He posted he was doing a session with an artist, a Latin artist, and they were doing her Dolby stuff, her Atmos Dolby as well,
Yeah.
and that's just really exciting to people right now, and it does make a difference in the sound.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, it's what blew me away was we did an interview with Jeff, and he actually let us sit in the chair where he does all of that mixing and everything. And you've got
What is your friend's full name again?
Jeff Huskins.
Jeff Huskins. Okay, I'll make note of that. Jeff Huskins.
Yeah, he's well, when Lainey won her Grammy for that album,
Yes.
that was Jeff.
He mixed the record?
He mixed it in Atmos.
Wow. Wow, wow. Well, speaking of Lainey, she was just with us for the Opry 100 show honoring
Yeah.
John and June. And she's incredibly nice, incredibly down to earth, deserves everything that's coming her way right now.
Oh, yeah.
And then John and I just think the world of her.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I love her whole down home.
Yes. She's easygoing. Um,
It's a
you know,
girl next door with a lot of money.
well, it's interesting. You meet all kinds of people, and not one artist is better than the other. But sometimes some artists are more shy, maybe, and they come off as aloof.
Yeah.
And she just came across as extremely genuine and warm. And anyway, she was great on that show, and she's great to hang around for sure.
The one thing she did that just it tugged at this old boy's heartstrings. I seen it on YouTube, and it's where she was on tour and she brung this little girl out of the audience, all because the girl was holding up a sign. My daddy bet me that I couldn't get a horse or a horse trailer. I can't remember which one it was. And first thing Lainey said was, well, guess you're going to get it now. Drug her up on stage and just made over that girl right there on stage.
That
And I
is
was
so
just like,
sweet. That is so sweet. So I love when an artist is like that with their fans, and she's just a great
mhm.
example. And I could go on and on about what a nice person she is.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but yes, no, I particularly also love children. I love being around my kids and other kids and my kids' friends and everything. And
I'm,
um,
I'm a grandparent now. I still
oh,
love them, and I love them. I like seeing them. I like hanging out with them. But then you got to go away. I got to go.
yeah. No, I get it. You've done your share of raising kids, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I know what's coming next. They're going to get to a certain age and they're, Grandpa, can you give me a phone? Can I get a laptop? Can I get this? Can I get that? And it's hard. It is really hard to say no.
It is hard, like I say no a lot. I hate to be bad cop, but now my daughter, like she wants me to get all these apps, and not all the apps are free. And even if they are $1.99 or $1.99, I don't want her to get used to mom will pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mommy will just get me whatever I want. Mom will just get me this app. So I have her earn things. I say no for a prolonged period of time before I buy another app. I ask her to read a book, you know.
A book?
And
What's that?
and like there's so many nice farms in Tennessee. We take them out to like farms to have experiences, to get hands-on with things, to be outside. Again,
Oh
like
yeah.
I think the world, like a lot of people miss that, I think, not to sound
Mhm.
like I feel like I'm dating myself maybe, but like I feel like back in the old days,
Well, yeah. I had a friend of mine tell me the other day, for some reason, David, you sure do say a lot about back in the day.
Well, I think we're nostalgic and I think people want real human connection again. I think if COVID was a lesson
Yeah.
about all that, we were all isolated, not just where we live, but worldwide. It was isolated. People felt lonely. People got really sick. People got sad because we were meant to communicate with each other. We were meant to be a community. We're meant to be out
Oh yeah.
and not with
Definitely.
our head buried in a phone or an iPad. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry that this whole interview has been about that. And
Well, I've said several times, the internet is really a double-edged sword. You can get a lot of people out there and you can show the masses and everything else, and they can watch the interview and participate. They can, send a comment to the show and we'll get it and we'll, ask the question, but then there's that other side where it's like, there's a world out there,
yeah, there's a whole world.
because I was raised up, even though I was born and raised in Nashville.
You were okay, just like John. Well, John, of course, in Sumner County, he
Right.
was raised. Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad had friends that had farms.
I love farms. I love farm culture here. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're good. And like, I remember back, 8, 9 years old, I wasn't big enough to pick up the bale of hay to throw it in the back of the trailer. But guess what? Get your butt in the truck and drive it.
Yeah.
8, 9 years old, I'm driving a truck out in the middle of a field. And then at 11 years old, I was taught how to plow, go around and do all this daggone work, and then help out with the pigs and the horses and the cattle. And tobacco season started, and that was always fun because you had to cut it, stake it, stick it, and do all this stuff. And it was insane. And I really wished some of these farms, I wish they'd go to high schools.
Yes. Yes. I say the same thing. I say this. That's so funny that you said that because do you remember home ec class? Like how
Yeah.
people used to have home education class all the time?
Yeah.
So I don't know why it went away. I don't know if it's because people feared that it was like more geared toward one gender or not. I don't really quite know why that went away. But I have a friend from Sweden, and she told me that they have like a life management class, like in middle school and high school. So
Yeah.
they teach you how to pay bills. They teach you how to manage a family. They teach you about like raising kids, like all in a
Mhm.
class basically. And they teach you like practical work, like farm work and all
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff too. So I thought, how cool would that be to have like an actual life class, like how to balance your checkbook? Like a lot
Oh
of the
yeah.
kids graduate from high school, they don't know how to balance a checkbook. They still need help with that kind of thing, like how to, because even just family work is a lot of management, like keeping
Mhm.
the house clean, raising kids, education, um, just so much entertaining, like all of that. Um, but yes, it's
Well, I mean, when I can't remember what grade I was in. I think it was 6th grade or 5th grade. I can't remember. But they made the guys go to the home ec also.
yeah,
And
yeah.
let me tell you something. They taught me how to make chocolate chip cookies.
Oh yeah. My husband makes chocolate chip cookies, and I would hope that my son, in order to survive college someday, could fry an egg for sure.
But the bad part about it is there's some women out there that can't even boil water.
It's true. It's true. And it's like It's funny, like as far as like mine and my husband's roles, like we switch off. Like not one
Yeah.
of us is more the domestic than the other. He's actually a pretty domesticated man. He also cooks as well. So we
Mhm.
took turns. Like maybe I'll do some more throughout the week. He'll do more on the weekends and he grills. But we kind of like shared duties, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's one of like his ways to find peace is he
Yeah.
likes to cook as well.
Well, my mom and my grandmother, they were like real adamant about being more self-sustainable.
Yes. Yes.
And I was taught how to cook, crochet, macrame, um, pottery. We did pottery too. It was crazy. I mean, it was just all kinds of stuff that they taught me how to do. I
Well,
still
you just never know when you're going to need one of those skills, really. Like,
no, right. And
like we learned actually, again, just referring back to COVID, like a lot of people like went back to growing their own stuff. And we've been doing that here in Tennessee
mhm,
for a while. But a lot of people just felt the need because they were scared to be self-sustaining, sustainable, just so they wouldn't have to go to the grocery store because they were afraid of the germs and whatnot at the time.
oh yeah.
And all that. Yeah. So I think it's nice. You just don't know when you're going to need those skills. Like how would you grow your food, you know?
Well, that was one thing I liked because I noticed a lot of people were doing the spices in their kitchen and growing their own little spice racks and stuff. I thought that was cool as all get up. It's just the way it is.
It is. Yeah, we've got we do have basil, we have oregano, like rosemary.
See, that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
It's fun. It's fun.
Oh, you ain't lived until you've made a big old pot of spaghetti and you actually used the ingredients, the raw vegetables and everything else, and you cook that spaghetti sauce almost 8 hours, and you're adding in fresh herbs and all that other good stuff. Man, it's the best spaghetti you ever have.
We do it. Well, the tomatoes here, when I moved to Tennessee, I had never, just growing up in Florida, it's more citrus and things like that. So we had like
Mhm.
mango, we had guava, we had different fruits here and there that were like more citrus related.
Yeah.
But I had never had like a real tomato until I moved to Tennessee like 11 years ago.
Hmm.
And like when I tried that, I was like, what is this? This is not a tomato because it's not like a watered down version of a tomato that you'd find at a store. It was like a real
Right.
tomato. And it's like
Hmm.
I'm too spoiled now being here. I can't look at a tomato in the same way, you know?
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, you can go buy a tomato in Kroger or Publix or wherever, but you see that farmer on the side of the road and stop and get some of the stuff that he's got. And man, you talking about just barely cutting one of them and juices are going everywhere. I mean, it's just awesome as all get out.
It's awesome. So I've learned a lot about that and like the co-ops and everything. I just find farm culture like really fascinating. And I'm sorry I'm nerding out on this so much, but I think and like and again in South Florida there were farms. Like the Homestead area is full of farms. But again, like the kind of goods that were created there and grown there were different,
Yeah.
than over here. So it's nice just to have that different like different stuff, and then like
Oh,
when
yeah.
we go to visit my parents' house, like the house I grew up in, like from the time I was 5 years old, like they have a mango tree, they have a guava tree, they have lime growing, and
Mhm.
they have something called mamey. It's a very interesting fruit. It's a very sweet fruit that you can make shakes with, and it's like a powdery pink sort of thing when you mix it with milk. And like John, just like the first thing he does, and they have coconut trees in their yard.
Awesome.
And the first thing my husband does is like he gets a bag and he just picks the fruit in my parents' backyard. So
Heck yeah. Maybe I need to go shopping with him.
yeah, yeah, you should because like he's all about the produce too. Really.
Well, I mean, I seen a thing, an article the other day. There's a greenhouse here in Tennessee somewhere, and they have actually started growing pineapple in Tennessee
Stop.
in this greenhouse. And it's not like, the traditional pineapple. This pineapple you can eat the whole thing except for the leafy top. You can eat the skin, you can eat all of it, and it's just it is awesome. You have to look it up.
I will have to look that up because yeah, I am so there to buy some pineapple.
Oh,
So
yeah. I love pineapple.
I do
It,
too. You know, it's actually anti-inflammatory.
yeah. There's a lot of people I'd like to give some to because they're inflammatory as all get out.
That's a good one.
Ah, oh God. Anyway, Hannah, thank you so much for being on, honey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was super fun. You never know which direction the conversation's going to go. And most of my most of my conversation was about kids being off of their iPads and produce.
Yep.
So
You know, and that's the great part about it because more people find out more about who you are.
yeah, no, absolutely. I I have a great time. Like I said, I talk maybe as much as you do or more. I don't know. I don't know if more.
Well,
I love to talk.
this studio is in Hendersonville.
Okay.
The other studio will be in Nashville. And you're welcome back anytime, hon.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much.
If you want to, get John to go shopping and then both of you come on over and hang out.
Yeah, we'll bring some vegetables and fruit your way. How about that?
There we go. That works for me.
We'll make it happen. Let Christy know.
I will. And hey, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes. So my website is annachristinakash.com, and pretty much like on X, all those things like Instagram, I'm Anna Christina Cash as well, like the handle, except I have a TikTok, and that's Anna Christina Cash Music.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for so much for being on, honey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was fun.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. There you go. Check it all out and go and check out Miss Anna Christina Cash.com, wasn't it? .com. I'm telling you, like I said at the beginning of this, y'all go listen to her stuff, connect with her on the social medias and all this other stuff. You will not be disappointed because she has got so many things that she's bringing together and making really, really good country music out of all of it. And it's just awesome as all get out. So anyway, we're going to get off here. We got another show today at 6:30 p.m., I believe it is, with Mr. Adam Warner. We had him at CMA Fest one year. So this will be fun. I get to catch up with him. So we'll holler at y'all. See you this, couple hours or something like that, Caitlin? I got a thumbs up for Caitlin. Yay. Cool. All right. Love you. Mean it. Bye.